Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Relationship Advice and it's by user ThrowArray2947491. My 28 female, boyfriend 30 male secretly invited his parents to move into our house without telling me. So I've been with my boyfriend for 4 years, living together for almost 2. We bought a house together last year. We had a lot of talks beforehand about boundaries, financial planning, and how important it was for both of us to feel like this was our space. Last week, my boyfriend casually mentioned that his parents might stay with us for a while. I assumed he meant a week or two, maybe up to a month. Fine, they live out of state and I know they've been struggling financially, so I didn't think too much of it. Well, I found out yesterday from mother-in-law, not even from boyfriend, that the plan isn't just to visit. Boyfriend apparently told them they could move in with us indefinitely, as in they've already sold their place and are arriving next week with a moving truck. I was stunned. I confronted boyfriend immediately and he acted like it wasn't a big deal. He said, "They're my parents, of course they have a place here." When I told him that a permanent arrangement was never discussed and that I didn't consent to it, he got defensive. He said I was being cold and ungrateful and accused me of hating his family. For context, I don't hate his parents. Mother-in-law and father-in-law are fine in small doses, but they're very traditional and openly critical of me for not being wife material. We're not married and I have no plans to quit my career. Mother-in-law has made comments about how she'd love to help raise the kids. We don't want children right now. Father-in-law is the kind of guy who thinks women belong in the kitchen. So the idea of them living with us full-time is challenging. I feel completely betrayed. Boyfriend made a massive life-altering decision without my input, one that directly impacts our home. He keeps brushing it off like I'm overreacting. I don't even know how to come back from this. How should we deal with this? Well, OP, I think your boyfriend just basically nuked your relationship. He betrayed your trust. All those talks about boundaries and financial planning and the future and whatever you guys discussed, he effectively went behind your back and moved his parents into your home. They've already sold their place and are on their way. Unfortunately, you're already committed. You've got skin in the game because you own part of that house. So if I was in your shoes, the first thing I'd do is go to a lawyer and ask them what my options are here to get out clean and not lose any money. Maybe he can buy you out. Maybe you both need to put the house on the market and then split the money. Whatever it is, your goal should be to get away from that dead weight as much as possible because that's what it's going to turn out to be. This kind of betrayal and breaking of trust is not something you can just come back from. At least not for me. I wouldn't be able to do it. And what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments section. And now let's check out the community comments. Ecosia says, "It's a real shame you aren't married. It would make the legalities for selling the house cleaner. There is nothing to fix here, OP. This is not a betrayal that you can fix. You don't need to fix him or try and get over this. You should not. Get a lawyer. The parents aren't in your house yet? Great. Get a lawyer before they move in. Your relationship should be over. This man does not respect and care about you. I'm sorry to be blunt, but there is no we to deal with this. There is only you and whether or not you're going to lay down like a doormat and pay for their house." Magic Tube Suck of Joy says, "Lawyer up. This relationship is over and he's just shown you he's willing to fight real dirty. Get a storage locker and move your most precious items and important paperwork into it quietly. If asked, you've had too much stuff and you're purging. Take your lawyer's advice and move in silence." Intelligent Rule 293 says, "This is posted in Relationship Advice, so my advice is you don't have a relationship. This is a crazy life-altering decision that your boyfriend can't respect you enough to include in said decision. Even more insulting, you're now being brushed off as too dramatic. If this was me, I wouldn't be wasting time on Reddit. I'd be speaking to my lawyer. Boyfriend needs to buy you out or pain mommy and daddy can. This is not a situation where you're going to win. This will be the rest of your life. He'll make decisions without consulting you and it'll only get worse. Protect your investment in the house and use it to break free into your own place. Wish you all the best." Just want to add, I'm usually a talk it out and see if things can be worked on type of person. This guy doesn't seem like he'll have a conversation. He sees nothing wrong with what he's done and there's no arguing with stupid. Shrug. And Reverend Vader says, this happened to me in the early 2000s. Thankfully, I was paying for the house 100%, so they go or you all go, sorted it. Gave her a month for parents to find somewhere else to stay. Behind that, my partner grew up with parents that just walked all over what decent people regard as basic boundaries, like moving into someone's house without 2 yeses. On top of that, I learned my partner would always be a self-lowering doormat for her parents, and she was also totally fine forcing me to be her doormat as the consequence. Took a few years to realize people that allow this behavior on them will treat their partner exactly the same. This is why you were not told there is a hierarchy in this family and you come last. I would get the F out once that penny dropped, but not before it cost me half the house. I'd get out now if I was you. Quicker equals cheaper in the long run. Additional information from OP's comments. I've tried talking calmly, but he just doubles down and refuses to see my side. We've had arguments before where he's brushed me off, but never to this extent, just smaller things. Like if I said I was stressed about work, he'd brush it off with, "You worry too much." Annoying, but I didn't see it as a big deal until now. And I really did try talking to him about this, but he shut it down and said I was being dramatic. He won't even discuss limits, so there's no middle ground at the moment. I also said there's a difference between visiting and moving in. He still insists I'm being dramatic because they are his parents. And when I asked him how he thought I'd be okay with it, he said he didn't think he had to ask since he would do the same for my parents. But in that case, even if it were necessary, I would still ask my partner as it changes the entire home situation. But he never discussed how this would work. I didn't expect him to have this attitude, but in hindsight, I probably shouldn't be surprised given how he's been dismissive of milder concerns in the past. Anyway, I ignored the red flags, but I contacted a lawyer yesterday. I'm looking into my options for a buyout or, if needed, a forced sale. If I don't push back or leave, this sets the tone that he can make huge decisions without me. Up until now, we always split housework fairly and never fought about it, but with his parents here, I know it would fall on me, and I can't live like that. Well, the overall consensus is that this is over and that OP needs to find the best way to get out of there with the majority of her assets, which is something that she's apparently already doing. So now, let's move on to the update to see how the story ends. First, thank you to everyone who commented and offered support. Reading your messages really helped me feel seen and validated during all of this. Sorry it took me so long to post an update. Everything got tied up with lawyers and paperwork and I wanted it settled before sharing. My ex ended up buying me out of the house. Best decision I've ever made. I walked away, had a fresh start and no dead weight attached to me. As I was not willing to live in this situation, I gave my ex the papers and he pretty much agreed with no fuss. Paid with his own money, dipped a bit into his savings, and things moved fast. I got my own place, got lucky with a very small apartment, left all furniture behind as most was his anyway. Focused on work and honestly, my life has been calm, stable, and better than it's ever been. Meanwhile, he got exactly what he thought he wanted. The house with his parents in it, and it's been an absolute train wreck. They moved in permanently, and within days, it was obvious they see him less as a son and more as their live-in caretaker. They expect him to cover all the bills, cook, clean, and drop everything for them. They nitpick every little thing, criticize how he runs the house, and remind him daily that he owes them for everything they ever did for him. He's working longer hours just to keep up financially, and the house that was supposed to be his pride and joy has basically become their space, not his. He has no privacy, no downtime, and no control. From what mutual friends have told me, he's burnt out, bitter, and constantly snapping at everyone around him. When I confronted him about why he didn't even tell me about their move-in, he said, "If I told you, you would have said no, and I couldn't let them down." That line still blows my mind. He admitted point blank that my opinion never mattered. He saw me as a roadblock, not a partner. So yeah, I dodged a bullet. He changed himself to the exact life I refused to accept. And now he's drowning in it. I got out clean and I don't regret a thing. That's it. There's not much other than he's miserable, sad, burnt out, and a free nanny for his parents. So I guess life's going pretty well. Smiley face. Well, OP, personally, I don't really care about your ex-boyfriend and the fact that he's miserable with what he wanted. That's just like the consequences of your actions, or like play stupid games, whatever, you know? I think it's just great that you got out with your capital and are doing great. So here's wishing you the best, OP. Thanks so much for sharing and take care. And now let's move on to the next post that also has an update. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole, and it's by user ActiveTop53. Am I the a-hole for purposefully missing meeting my sister's biological family? I'm 22 male and my sister is 28 female. So, for context, my sister was adopted. Parents thought they couldn't conceive, and then I was born. But my parents loved us both and whatever. Anyway, a few months ago, my sister started meeting with her biological mom after tracking her down. I was there to meet with them for the first meeting and everything. My parents have been supportive and I've been supportive as well. But that first meeting, her biological mom and her 2 daughters, they look a lot like my sister, and the older kid is 21, around my age. She hugged my sister and they cried and everything. They look alike, and after talking, they were able to point out like similar behavioral characteristics, etc. I'm nothing like my sister. We have different interests, etc., but we've been close. But when I was a kid, I used to annoy her a lot, and to be honest, I've done some messed up stuff to her. When I was 12, I pulled her earring and tore her earlobe. I didn't want to hurt her like that, but I did want to mess with her. I used to force myself into any outings with her friends. I used to annoy her. I made fun of her a few times when she got bad grades in math, and she made fun of my English grades as well. I suck at writing. There's more messed up stuff we did to each other. Arguably, I was worse though, lol. But I could go on and on. When I was around 14 and 15, we got chill and have been chill since. Also, I like video games, the gym, and the gun range. That's all I do. She likes outdoor and super social activities. Her biological sister seemed to be more in tune with her interests. I kind of feel like I've been a crap brother and I've felt like an imposter. I've sat out 3 other meetings they had with them claiming I couldn't come home, I was busy with work, etc. I don't know how to talk about this with her because I have super ironic relationship with her. She keeps it real with me, but I've never spoken non-sarcastically to her. Even when she said she would contact her biological family, I said, "Good, hope they take you off our hands," haha. And we both laughed it off. Recently, she's begun to suspect something, I think. She asked me if I don't like them or something, or why I keep avoiding my family as a whole. I haven't been home in a few months. I lied to her and said I'm actually busy. My mom keeps asking me about it too and tells me it's important to support her. I do support her, but it's like I feel like she's better off with them. They never annoyed her growing up and stuff. I know it's a bit illogical, but I thought I was doing the right thing since I don't want her meeting them to be about me. I don't really get along with my dad, and my mom never intervenes when I argue with him. My sister has always stood up for me against him. She's the only one who gets me, so I don't want to lie to her, but I don't want to make this moment about me either. I thought I was doing the right thing. Anyway, sorry if this is messily written. I don't like thinking or talking about like deep crap much. Well, Peep, I don't think you're an a-hole. I think you're afraid. I think you're afraid of losing your sister, the one person that stands up for you against your dad, which you said you don't have a good relationship with and argue a lot. It sounds like she does love you a lot and she wants you to be there, or else she wouldn't be asking why you're skipping out. And I understand that you feel like you were a bad little brother for everything you did to her, like annoy her or that earring thing, which yeah, that sucked. And now that she has a sister or she's met with her sister, you're afraid that she might replace you with her because in your eyes, she never did that. And you're right, she didn't do all the things that you did to her. But she also doesn't know her very well and she's just getting to know her. You're her brother and she's known you since you were a baby. So if I was in your shoes, I would try to talk to her. Tell her how you feel. Tell her you're sorry if that comes up as well. And work from there. Maybe her biological family can become family for you as well. And what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's check out the community comments. Confused Friend 5467 says, "No a-holes here. Honestly, I would send this post to your sister. It sounds like you are struggling to tell her you regret how you treated her growing up and you appreciate her as a sister. You wrote it very well here. Send this or something similar to her to help open the conversation up." I Am Charity says, not the a-hole because you are processing your feelings, but I really think you need to have a real non-sarcastic conversation with your sister and tell her your feelings. You write like you feel like an outsider in her life now, and that hurts because she is the one in your family you feel the closest to. Tell her that. I'd like to address some specific points in your post. First, sounds like you were an annoying little brother, which is 99.9% of all little brothers to have ever existed. Don't beat yourself up for that. Second, if she had grown up with them, they would have annoyed her as much, if not more. I'm a little sister myself and I annoyed the hell out of my big sister. Third, I can tell just from what you wrote that your sister loves you and wants you to be a part of her life. And to be a part of the larger group of siblings she now has. It sounds like she has many things in common with her biological sisters, but she only has a shared childhood with you. Also, the shared interests they have may just be more to do with the fact that they are all women and you are a man. But even if it is biological, that doesn't mean you don't belong in her life. Wishing you the best. Go tell your sister you love her. And through Ilse says, I wish I could reach through the screen and smack you into talking to your sister. She wouldn't invite you to go with her if she didn't want you there with her. If, after everything you two have done to each other, which sounds like typical sibling crap to me, then she still wants a relationship with you despite all of it. If you feel bad for treating her poorly as a kid as well as for the comments about taking her back, you need to talk to her. Just because you've never talked to her without sarcasm before doesn't mean you're not allowed to start being open and honest with her now. If you find it too hard to say to her face, write her a letter, and for the next trip out to see your family, go give her the letter and just ask her to read it when she has some time to herself. Well, the community agrees that OP is not the a-hole and that he should just talk to his sister. So now let's move on to the update to see how this story ends. I followed everyone's advice and thought about sending her a text or a letter, but my dad unfortunately fractured his leg and I had to stop by home to see him on Thursday. We don't have a speaking relationship, but my mom makes me still be a good son and he lashes out at my mom if I don't play the part. My sister was there since my dad and I don't talk to each other face to face and only talk through her or my mom. Anyway, afterwards, my dad sat on the couch to watch TV and I had some dinner with my sister. She just said it's been a long time since we've seen each other and asked if everything was okay and why I've been avoiding her. I don't know why it happened or what happened, but for some reason I started crying then and kinda just told her everything. It all just spilled out. Not just that, but other issues I've been having in my life in general as well. Little bit embarrassing to be honest. I just haven't seen her since January. She started crying too and assured me I'll always be family. And my mom cried too. My dad got pissed off and made a comment about how men don't cry and that my mom and sister are spoiling me by letting me cry. Same crap he normally did growing up. This time, my mom joined my sister and they both yelled at him, told him to F off essentially. He got angry and picked up his crutches and hopped, to the neighbor's house, his friend, lol. Anyway, I don't know why, but that helped a lot. I took off from work and my sister did too and we spent all of Friday chilling. She wanted me to come to her bio mom's husband's birthday party on Saturday if I was cool with it. I was, and I went there and met them again. Cool coincidence. Her bio mom's husband's sister was my professor back in college. I TA'd for her and she was my mentor, so I spent most of the time there catching up with her and taking grad school and career advice from her. And she said she knew someone at my dream company I want to work for and told me to contact her again when I graduate, since I already know her and we're confusingly family now, lol. My sister was glad I had a good time and my mom did too. Dad sat it out since he was injured. When I had to leave to come back, my sister cried again and made a huge scene. Made me promise to never ignore my family like that again. I'm home now and I think I'll continue stopping by home every 2 weeks or so like I did before everything. Anyway, yeah, not a huge update or anything, but it's cool. I told my sister I would show up to her meetings with them sometimes, but not every time, cause it's still awkward for me. And she said she's okay with that, just wanted them and me to know about each other a bit. So yeah, it's kinda all chill now. All it took was me crying like a child and being sappy, LMAO. I'm never living that down. Well, OP, I think that all it took was actual communication on your part. If it came out in the form of crying, it's because your emotions were overwhelming you, which is absolutely normal in a situation like this, so don't beat yourself up for that. The good thing is, as you say, it's all kind of chill now. So here's wishing you the best, OP. Thanks so much for sharing and take care. And now let's finish this video with a quick mood booster post. This post is from the subreddit Malicious Compliance and it's by user Commercial Search 364. Don't want me start before 8? Fine. Years ago, I worked for this complete psycho at a semi-public service type place. Moody, arrogant. My first week there, she must have mentioned having a PhD, doctorate, I'm a doctor, at least half a dozen times. And the biggest damn snob I've ever met. We had flexible work hours, spread our hours between 7 a.m. and 6 p.m., signing on in 15-minute increments. If I had really good run in traffic, sometimes I get there in time to sign on at 7:30 or 7:45. Well, Psycho Doctor didn't like that and said I couldn't start before 8, despite everyone else in the office being allowed to. I explained that sometimes, if the traffic was good, I got in earlier than that, but she wouldn't have it. Told me if I got in early, I could read through my work emails, but I couldn't sign on before 8. So basically, she expected me to give 15 to 30 minutes free labor. Yeah, nah, screw that. So if I got in early and the weather was nice, I'd sit outside. Or if it wasn't, I'd sit at my desk and read my Kindle or play on my phone and didn't switch my computer on until bang on 8 o'clock. Her boss came by early one morning wanting to collect something she'd left in the office for him, and of course, the office wasn't open and she demanded to know where I was. I reminded her that I wasn't allowed to start before 8, which I could tell royally pissed her off, but there was nothing she could do about that as I had the email trail to back me up. Small potatoes in terms of malicious compliance, but it made me feel good. Not at all, OP. I'm sure the boss wasn't happy and she had to explain it. Maybe she tried to throw you under the bus, but you had receipts. Thanks for sharing, OP. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out. So here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later. And also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.